All right, and it seems that we are live. Happy Friday, everyone. Our beautiful friends out there, beautiful souls around the world. We are broadcasting live from beautiful California, from the Republic, the restored Republic. So welcoming you all. We'll be waiting a few moments here until people tune in. Let us know where are you dialing in from, tuning in from, what's going on in part of your world. This is so wonderful about having the convenience of being able to connect, right? So we can share information, and today we are sharing very, very important information. So welcoming you again to this live broadcast, Doug and Lenka from Southern California. And we are actually making a very important notice to all the men and women who took an oath of office that they will serve the people. And this is something that everyone needs to know and hear. The people who took the seats as the public servants. So very important notice, very important announcement. So I see that people are there. So welcoming you all again. So in our last video, we were talking about your right of self-help and how important it is that you actually comprehend that this is America. This is United States of America, where we have public servants. We do not have public rulers. And all the power is invested in the people. And if you are a living man or woman, that's it. That's you. You are the people. And the right is invested in the individual. This is what's wonderful about Republic, that all of you living people, the men and women, unless you voluntarily step into the office of something else, like the office of a person, the office of a resident, citizen, then you stop being that living man and woman. But as long as you are the living men and women, the right, you have those rights, and those rights are unalienable. That means that no one can put a lien on them. They cannot be taken away from you. You were born with them. So these are unalienable, God-given rights. As long as you are not hurting other men and women, your brothers and sisters, their property, trespassing on their rights. That's what makes America so amazing, and amazing experiment. And as people are waking up and stepping into their power and learning about their rights, now we can actually do something about it. So in the last video, if you haven't seen it, please make sure that you do. We also now have Rumble account that's under Lenka Coloma. And just make sure that you also study and listen at least a few times to some of the other videos that we are putting out. So this is free education. We are not paid. We want you to know. We want you to know about your rights, how to exercise your rights, the remedies you have. And so today we will kind of focus on what does it mean when someone, living man or woman, actually decides that they want to serve, right? That they want to take the oath of office and that they want to serve in, the capacity as a tax collector, tax assessor, health officer, board of supervisor, police officer, sheriff, judge. So this is very important. So this notice is for you. So Doug?
Well, there's a lot of people out there that are taking oaths of office and don't really realize what time it is as far
What does it entail, right?
Well, okay, look, you're working for a corporation and not a government, okay? Go look it up. You've got DUNS numbers, EIN numbers. It'll tell you they're a corporation when you look at their credit report, okay? But what happens is they don't have the documentation to actually be a corporation. But they can't be government either under the Clearfield Doctrine. Okay? So you've taken an oath to uphold the Constitution. And because you work for a corporation, in law and in commercial law, it has to be indemnified. In other words, it has to have insurance, indemnity insurance, in case one of you agents goes out and violates somebody's rights and hurts them and causes them injury, and say they miss a bunch of days of work or what have you, say you falsely imprison them, you kidnap them and take them somewhere, such as a jail, and hold them for ransom.
So let's explain what does it actually mean, like that someone trespasses. So let's take a police officer.
Well, a police officer is not it's not police, it's policy. Okay, so they're corporate mercenaries, they're corporate policy enforcement officers. That's all fine and well, as long as you know who comes under those policies and who you can enforce those policies on. You can't come and enforce those policies against one of the people because they're private corporate policies. They weren't properly passed, and nobody gave your corporation the proper delegation of authority to legislate over the people themselves.
So I think it's very important to kind of bring it into perspective, because this is so just new concept, and it's just like so almost hard to believe.
Well,
so if I may, just for a second. So I want you people to think about it when we say that the government you think is a government of we the people is a corporation, right? As that mentioned. So imagine it's a Walmart, okay? And Walmart now has security guards. And that's pretty much what these policy enforcers are, what police officers are. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're corporate mercenaries. It actually violates the Anti-Pinkerton Act, because what they're doing is these are private corporations, okay, that are selling us governmental services at the point of a gun.
Governmental.
Right. They're not government themselves. They claim to be a governmental services corporation who was hired through contract to provide us 19 essential services until we self-govern.
So once again, so imagine Walmart, right? Walmart hires security guard, and now you are peacefully traveling on the road, and a Walmart security guard puts lights on in his car and pulls you over. Like, how would you react to that, right? I don't think that you would really comply with that. But you see, they fooled you. They fooled you that they actually have jurisdiction over men and women, unless you give it to them.
Well, look, what they do, okay, since they took the substance, and what I mean substance is there's no money of exchange. The gold and silver's gone. There's nothing behind the money, okay, except, you're fooled into thinking it means something. All right? So the money has no value within itself. The Federal Reserve notes have no value within themselves, okay? So in order to have a contract, you have to give something of value for something of value. So since they took all the value out of commerce, out of our lives, by taking all of our money, our legitimate money, okay, and forcing us to use their funny money, all right, which, there's no contract, you can't buy anything because you have no interest in what you buy, because you're not even using your money to buy it, you're using a corporate script to buy it, which is a promise to pay later. I mean, there's all kinds of this stuff that goes into this, okay? So what happens now is you've got these officers that are enforcing this private corporate policy, right? Okay, well, the people are private, all right? And so as private men and women, okay, we're above government. All power and political power is in the people. It's not in our servants. We have public servants, not public rulers, okay? So when these people come in and they take this oath, they step down from their private status, okay, and their sovereignty to enter into public service as a public trustee. They enter one of these emoluments, and they get paid to execute all of the duties and responsibilities of that job for the people, for the benefit of the people, okay? And they're not doing that. All right, so that's called an emoluments violation, because they're getting paid to do this, yet they're not doing it. They're actually taking corporate money to violate our rights through private corporate policy by misapplying that policy to the men and women that don't know they're men and women, that still think they're citizens, persons, and residents, which are offices you hold in their corporation. All right, and I know that's hard to believe and hard to to understand and digest, but that's the truth. But what we're trying to do now is, look, I'm trying to notice all of you guys out there that are these policy enforcers or these employees that have an oath of office and you've decided to serve the people, okay? Well, right now, you're serving a for-profit corporation and you're violating the people's rights. Now, most people don't know the fact that they have a right to remedy. If you hurt me or cause me injury, I have a right to remedy. Okay, it took me a long time to learn this. Okay, and people are learning
because
this
they
quick.
don't teach this.
No, they don't. They hide
They don't want you people to
No,
know that
they
you have
hide
the
it.
remedy, right?
Okay, they hide it throughout all their stuff. Okay, but even their private corporate
Interruption that our okay. All right, we are back on. All right, and so okay, most of you out there are good people, right? You know, I know many people who wanted to serve their community and they wanted to become a police officer to, you know, keep the peace, to protect people. I know many people like that, right? So you are, you go in with these good intentions and they put you through whatever schooling and education it is, but they are not telling you that they are actually not educating you how to actually hold a proper office as a public servant, but truly a violator of people's rights, because it's the attorneys that are teaching you and are educating you on these codes, statutes, and policies. That is kind of like the Walmart, that they are teaching you about the corporate policies.
No, they're mistraining you to be to act like the people are the enemy and that we're below you, okay, or you have some kind of authority over me. Go over and look in the legislative section of the California Constitution, 1849, because 1879 has been repealed, and you show me where the legislature was delegated any authority to legislate over the people themselves. You won't find it, and it's not there, and it doesn't exist. Okay, your scope of authority under the 1879 Constitution has been repealed. So what I'm trying to give you is a warning, okay, a friendly warning, all right, because you don't think we send you these paperwork, these people themselves, when we don't want to hire one of these attorneys, what happens is we send you paperwork and you ignore it, okay? Well, what that does is your acquiescence is agreement. So that means that when you ignore my paperwork, you agree to everything in it if you don't respond and actually rebut everything that I put in there with evidence, because I bring evidence to you.
And this is what we want to really emphasize. This is why it's in the First Amendment, that you have the right to petition your government for redress of grievances. This is very important. And since all the power resides in the people, we the people, we are the boss.
Anyway, what happens is when you ignore my paperwork, all right, you agree to it, all right? So if I file a tort and you don't respond and you don't rebut what's in that tort, you agree to it, including the injuries and damages, okay? So your insurance isn't going to pay anything for you. So now you have all of your personal property, your house, car, boat, anything with a certificate of title, okay?
Underline.
The reason I say anything with a certificate of title is because I can run up a $5 million bill and your violations of my rights at $250,000 a pop without even getting my pen going real good, okay? So you've got to, what? Say, even if you're lucky, $1 million home, $60,000 car, okay? Well, that doesn't even put up half of what you owe me when I put that into a lien and get it into an accounts receivable, all right? What about I take all of your property for full satisfaction in the court of that debt? Can you do anything about that? Do you think you can do anything about that?
Or your attorneys, that they will actually protect you?
Let me show you something. This is the UCC part of this book. This is UCC 1201. It's the definitions. Okay? The definition of remedy means any remedial right to which an aggrieved party is entitled with or without resort to a tribunal. It means I don't have to take you to court. My court is my paperwork.
And
Then
this is very important. This is very important point, because through your paperwork you are holding your code of record. So while you think that you can ignore it, you are actually acquiescing. Your silence is acquiescence.
then if you look up rights, the definition of rights says it includes remedies. So it throws you right back to remedies. Okay. So most of the remedies are contained in Article 9. Okay. Article 9 of the UCC is secured transactions. That means if you owe me money, I have a right to secure that money with a lien. Okay. And so when you come into Article 9, you can start at 9609. It's what you can do with the collateral after you're in default. Okay? And it states that the secured party right to take possession after default. Possession rendering equipment unusable, disposition on debtor's premises after default. The secured party may take possession of the collateral and without removal may render any equipment unusable and dispose of collateral on a debtor's premises under section 9610. Then it goes B, judicial and non-judicial process. A secured party may proceed under section A pursuant to a judicial process, or 2, without judicial process if it proceeds without a breach of peace. Okay? So, after that, it goes through here. It talks about what to do with the disposition, notification before disposition. It tells you how you have to notice the debtor. In other words, I would have to notice you, send you certain notices in the mail. Okay? But once I go through there and I send you these notices, right, then you know what I'm going to do with my property. My collateral. All right? I come to 96919. 6919. All right? It's called the transfer statement. All right? So by the time you get done with the notices and the paperwork that I sent you, it's a nice little package. It's called the transfer statement. Transfer statement. In this section, transfer statement means a record authenticated by a secured party. Well, when I put a lien on you, right, I'm the secured party, you're the debtor. Okay? So that means that a record that is that I put forward verifying that, I'm the secured party and you're the debtor and there's been a default, and that I've done certain things like the debtor has defaulted in connection with an obligation secured by specified collateral, that the secured party has exercised its post-default remedies with respect to the collateral, that by reason of the exercise, a transferee has acquired the rights of the debtor in the collateral and the name, mailing address of the secured party, debtor, and transferee. That's what a transfer statement is, and that's what that pile of papers that I have when I get done with my process, that's what I have in my hand. Okay? So let's see what a transfer statement does. Effect of a transfer statement. A transfer statement entitles a transferee, that's me, to the transfer of record of all rights of the debtor, that's you, in the collateral specified in the statement in any official filing, recording, registration, or certificate of title system covering the collateral if a transfer statement is presented with their applicable fee and request form to the official or office responsible for maintaining the system of the official or system. The official or office shall accept the transfer statement, properly amend its records to reflect the transfer, and if applicable, issue a new appropriate certificate of title in the name of the transferee. Okay? So what that means is I just go down and pay them the fee with that stack of papers and transfer your house, your car, your dog, and anything else you've got registered into my name for full satisfaction in the court of the debt. And then I get the sheriff to move you out of my house, okay, and kick you out of my car, all right? I think the only things that you get to keep are things that are exempted. I think it's one vehicle, wedding rings, personal clothing, family pictures, and a couple of other things. The rest of it's going to be mine, okay? And that's through just following simple administrative procedure. And when I say follow an administrative procedure, administrative law is set in stone. Okay, and so these judges, they're not sitting in a judicial capacity, they're sitting in a ministerial capacity because they have to follow the law, they have no discretion. So that means that when I go through this process, it comes out the same every time. And so the reason I'm giving you this notice is a lot of people are learning these processes. You're not insured. So be careful when you're out there on the streets violating people's rights, harming people, breaking people's stuff, and doing things to interfere in other people's lives. You know, when you go out there and you pull somebody over and give them a $1,500 ticket and take them to jail and make them bail out because you claim they assaulted you because they didn't want to give you a license that they're not supposed to have in the first place, you know, and you don't realize the fact that we have a right to travel, and you're impeding that right to travel because we have a right to travel unimpeded. All right, so that's a violation of my rights under color of law, and even your codes under 18 U.S.C. 241 consider that a criminal offense. Me, I consider it a criminal trespass, and I know how to go after all of your private and personal property because you don't have any indemnity insurance to cover you. So what I'm doing is I'm just letting you know that there are ways that we can get remedy, okay? So, you know, a lot of people are tired of all of these trespasses upon our rights and tired of your corporate mercenaries forcing us into involuntary servitude by holding us to these codes, statutes, and ordinances that don't apply to us as men and women. Okay? You can apply them to yourselves. You can apply them to the workers with you. You can apply them to the people that sign up for you to apply them to, but we're not that. Okay? So I'm just giving you people a friendly warning because people are going to start using these processes against you until we get our courts up and running. And then we'll start inviting you to our courts and asking our juries of our peers how we feel about being misclassified and misidentified, okay, within your corporation as chattel for your unjust enrichment, okay? Because that's not going to keep flying in the California Republic or this anymore. It's coming down to the wire now where we're going to be going back to common law, all right? Matter of fact, the Republic operates on common law in the original jurisdiction, and now it's up and running. And we're asking all of you also, when you get tired of this corporation and getting tired of screwing people over, okay, why don't you step back over into the Republic? We need some honest law and peace officers. There's a big difference.
There's a big difference, yeah.
We need peace officers, and we need people that have your training but a good mind and can actually critically think, not just order followers and low IQ people that were hired to be thugs. Okay? All that's coming to an end. I mean, people are going to start filing. These courts are going to start changing because once our courts are up and running, according to Ex parte Milligan, your court-martial courts, your military courts under the Libra Code, which I don't even think you know anything about, but they no longer have any authority, and we're tired of it. The Republic's back up and running, and so we're looking for good people. All right, but
and it's very important. So as we said at the very beginning, the way how this whole corruption, the state of corruption, really, that's what it is, and that's all we know. That we've been born into this constructive fraud and semantic deceit. But people are waking up, right? And people are stepping up, and they are not tolerating these trespasses and violation. And what is really tragic about this whole situation is that these human engineers, these puppet masters, are using ourselves against ourselves. Because if we took all these people and we would actually expose what's being done and how they've been intentionally compartmentalized. Sorry, I have a hard time pronouncing that word. No one with existing heart and existing conscience would agree to participate in criminal enterprise and would agree to steal and act as thug, because we just are not wired like that. but it's because they keep people through ignorance committing these crimes against their own brothers and sisters. So we really want to, this is a message to all of you that been been brainwashed and been used to as a tool against the people, as a weapon against the people. And I know that many actually people, many officers, many public servants, they stepped down because of that, because they were just sick and tired of the corruption and the injustice and what's really going on. Just the fact that our prison system is filled 70% with people who have not committed any crimes. And it's just really horrific that people's lives have been destroyed, families have been destroyed. Um, we are literally talking about modern day slavery and human trafficking. We are
Involuntary servitude.
in an involuntary servitude, that at a point of gun, these misinformed, miseducated people been basically hired to force regular men and women, regular mom and dads into involuntary servitude at the point of gun. Many people have been forced out of their homes because they couldn't afford to pay unlawful property taxes. Uh, People lost their children because someone decided that they can just trespass and they can remove children from people's homes. Um, the darkness we've been living in is almost, most people just don't even realize how deep this goes and what's really happening behind the closed doors of this elite club that created this legislative powers, this legislative club, where basically they think, these people think that they are above the law, and that we the people have absolutely no right, that we have no remedies, and that we will just keep tolerating this trespass and violations. So the good news for people, you have remedy. You don't have to go through the court. This is what we've been educating about, and it's right there. It's available for anyone. And you are stepping into your power. And you who took the oath of office and accepted to be paid by the people that you serve to perform duty, to uphold the Constitution that secures unalienable God-given rights to the people that you serve, you need to uphold it. Not the codes and statutes and ordinances that actually trespass on people's rights, but the supreme law of the land, the Constitution, which declares it very clearly in Article 6, Section 2. And under Article 6, Section 3, you are obligated under that oath of office. That's your fiduciary duty to serve and protect the people's rights. That's your duty. That's why you've been hired. That's why you are paid. And so this is a very important message for all the public servants out there to know that if you think that you can trespass, not only that you can trespass and violate people's rights, and that you are protected, you are not. And that's the tragic situation that a lot of people will be finding out the hard way, because it's unleashing, okay? The power of the people is unleashing. It's out there, and you are not safe, because no one will have your back. You think that because you work for this state of California, that you work for county of Nevada, or wherever you work for, that you are protected because it's been tolerated for so long. Well, not anymore. And this is why this is so important for you to really understand that the insurance policy, the bonds that don't even exist, that the criminal insurance carriers are not protecting you, they are protecting the corporation itself. If something should get stolen or something should get destroyed, that's for the corporation. That's not for you. the health officer, the police officer, the board of supervisor, the judge, whatever seat you took. And that's very important to really start understanding that, yeah, that people are waking up, and this will not be tolerated. Do you have anything else to add?
Not really. Just that, you know, it's sad that it's come to this. I mean, um, the people that are supposed to stand between us and the tyrants are working for the tyrants most of the time, and so it's come to the point where the people are going to have to, utilize the tools at their disposal and start affecting your lives the same way that you're affecting our lives. You know, when you put thousands of dollars of fines and fees and stuff on us, and we're barely making it as it is, how do you think it affects us? It affects the children and everybody around us. Okay, for what? Because some code said something. Okay, well, if you go look at those codes, they only apply to governmental employees and people that want to become citizens and contract into that. Okay, we don't want to contract into it. We don't want to participate in it. We don't like participating in constructive fraud, especially when the constructive fraud is turned on us and we become the victims of it. So, I just thought that maybe if you guys get into the UCC and you look up what self-help is, and you go to UCC, start at 9609, and then read until 9619 until you see what a transfer statement is. And then you'll understand how to get your remedy. You'll understand how to perform non-judicial foreclosures on public servants who break their oath. And, that right there is where your remedy starts.
And it's actually it's greatly set up, because if there is no controversy, then you don't need anyone to adjudicate it. You don't need anyone to decide if you are right or wrong. If the wrongdoer actually agrees with all his or her wrongdoing, and that's your paperwork that you are presenting to them, that lawful notification, then you give them the 21 days. Then you take them, you send them the notice of fault. Hey, Mr. Public Servant, you haven't answered my lawful notification where I told you that you are violating my rights, you are trespassing on my rights, and you need to fix that. You need to correct that, right? And then after you give them additional 3 days, and then you take it into default, which is a final judgment, res judicata, by which they agree to everything. So why would you need judge? Why would you need court to actually decide on everything? It's already decided. That's what final judgment is for. And you people have the power, and you public servants are completely exposed. But your principals are not telling you this. They are using you. You see, they are using you. You think that you are above the law, that you can do whatever, these attorneys told you. No, this is United States of America, and Constitution is still the supreme law of the land, and it's going to be enforced. So, my beautiful friends, I hope that this was helpful. Share it wide and far, because remember, knowledge is power, and we will see you in the next video. Sending much love.